From the dawn of humanity, we have waged war against invisible enemies. These microscopic foes lurking within our very cells have the power to devastate lives and reshape destinies. Today, we confront two titans of this unseen battlefield: cancer and AIDS. These diseases, shrouded in fear and misunderstanding, have haunted generations with their relentless assault on the human body. They are silent killers, striking without warning, leaving a trail of shattered lives in their wake. But in this epic struggle for survival, a question arises. Which of these adversaries poses the greater threat to our species? Could either of them hold the power to extinguish the flame of humanity altogether? This is the ultimate showdown, a battle for the very future of our species. In one corner, we have cancer, a relentless foe that arises from within, turning our own cells against us. It is a master of disguise, mimicking healthy tissues while silently multiplying, its tendrils reaching out to corrupt and consume. In the other corner stands AIDS, a viral invader that targets our body's defenses, crippling our ability to fight back against disease. It is a thief in the night, stealing our strength and leaving us vulnerable to opportunistic infections that would otherwise pose little threat. This is not just a battle of biology, it is a battle for our future. The outcome will depend on our understanding of these diseases, our ability to develop effective treatments, and our collective will to prevent their spread. To understand this battle, we must first understand the combatants. Cancer is not a single entity, but rather a collection of over 100 different diseases, each characterized by the uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells. These rogue cells, once ordinary members of the body's intricate machinery, transform into agents of chaos, multiplying uncontrollably and disrupting the delicate balance of tissues and organs. AIDS, or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV. This insidious virus attacks the very cells designed to protect us from disease, the CD4 cells, also known as T helper cells. These cells are the generals of our immune system, coordinating the body's defenses against a constant barrage of invaders. HIV weakens our defenses, leaving us vulnerable to infections and cancers that would otherwise be easily defeated. Both diseases are devastating in their own right. Cancer can strike anyone, regardless of age, background, or lifestyle. It is a disease of our own making, triggered by a combination of genetic predisposition, environmental factors, and lifestyle choices. AIDS, while preventable, is a persistent threat, particularly in regions with limited access to education, prevention, and treatment. The fear and stigma surrounding these diseases often prevent open discussion and hinder efforts to combat them effectively. We must confront these diseases head-on, armed with knowledge, compassion, and a commitment to finding solutions. Only then can we hope to turn the tide against these silent killers. The battle against cancer and AIDS is waged on a global scale, transcending borders, cultures, and socio-economic divides. These diseases do not discriminate. They affect people from all walks of life, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Cancer, in its many forms, is a leading cause of death worldwide, claiming millions of lives each year. Its impact is felt across the globe, from bustling cities to remote villages. While advancements in treatment have improved survival rates for many types of cancer, the fight is far from over. AIDS, once a death sentence, has transformed into a chronic, manageable condition for many thanks to the advent of antiretroviral therapy. However, access to these life-saving medications remains unequal, with millions still lacking access to the care they need. Sub-Saharan Africa, in particular, bears a disproportionate burden of the global HIV/AIDS epidemic. The fight against cancer and AIDS is not just a medical challenge, it is a societal one. It demands a concerted global effort involving researchers, healthcare providers, policymakers, and individuals alike. We must work together to raise awareness, improve prevention strategies, increase access to treatment, and ultimately find cures for these devastating diseases. Cancer, a formidable foe, is not a single disease, but rather a collection of over 100 different diseases, each characterized by the uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells. Imagine a society of cells, each with its own role, working harmoniously to maintain the intricate balance of the human body. Cancer cells are the rebels, the disruptors, refusing to adhere to the rules that govern normal cell behavior. These rebellious cells, once ordinary members of the body's intricate machinery, undergo a sinister transformation. Mutations, those tiny errors in our DNA, accumulate over time, disrupting the delicate balance that governs cell growth and division. Like a car speeding out of control, cancer cells multiply rapidly, ignoring the signals that tell normal cells when to stop. As these rogue cells proliferate, they form tumors, abnormal masses of tissue that can invade and damage surrounding organs. Imagine a weed growing unchecked in a garden, its roots spreading and choking the life out of neighboring plants. Similarly, cancerous tumors can disrupt the function of vital organs, leading to a cascade of health problems. The true insidiousness of cancer lies in its ability to spread. Through a process called metastasis, cancer cells can break away from the original tumor and travel through the bloodstream or lymphatic system to distant parts of the body. Like seeds scattered by the wind, these rogue cells can establish new colonies, forming secondary tumors and wreaking havoc throughout the body. In stark contrast to cancer's internal uprising, AIDS arises from an external invasion. The culprit is the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, a cunning and stealthy foe that targets the very cells designed to protect us from disease. Imagine a fortress, its walls manned by vigilant guards prepared to repel any attack. HIV is the saboteur, infiltrating the fortress and disabling its defenses from within. HIV specifically attacks CD4 cells, also known as T helper cells, which are crucial components of the immune system. These cells act as the generals of our body's defense, coordinating the immune response to infections. They are the alarm bells, alerting other immune cells to the presence of invaders and directing their attack. HIV, however, silences these alarm bells. It enters CD4 cells, hijacking their machinery to replicate itself, producing thousands of copies of the virus that then go on to infect other cells. Imagine a factory, its production line reprogrammed to churn out weapons for the enemy instead of goods for its own people. As more and more CD4 cells are destroyed, the body's immune system weakens, leaving it vulnerable to a wide range of opportunistic infections and cancers that would normally be easily defeated. It's like a city without police or firefighters, vulnerable to chaos and destruction. This weakened state is what we know as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, or AIDS. Cancer and AIDS, though vastly different in their origins and mechanisms, share a common thread. Both are capable of wreaking havoc on the human body, leading to debilitating illness and ultimately death. They are two sides of the same coin, representing the fragility of human life and the constant battle our bodies wage against disease. Cancer, the internal rebel, arises from within our own cells, a consequence of genetic mutations and environmental insults that accumulate over a lifetime. It is a disease of aging, with the risk increasing as we get older. AIDS, the external invader, exploits the vulnerabilities of our immune system, leaving us defenseless against opportunistic infections. It is a disease of transmission, spread through bodily fluids and disproportionately affecting marginalized communities with limited access to healthcare. The symptoms of cancer and AIDS are as varied as the diseases themselves. Cancer can manifest in countless ways, depending on the type and location of the tumor. Some cancers cause pain, while others remain silent until they have spread to other parts of the body. AIDS, in its early stages, may cause flu-like symptoms, but as the immune system weakens, it can lead to a wide range of infections, cancers, and neurological disorders. Despite their differences, both diseases highlight the intricate complexity of the human body and the delicate balance that must be maintained for good health. They serve as a stark reminder that we are not invincible, that our bodies are vulnerable to forces beyond our control. The impact of cancer and AIDS extends far beyond individual suffering, leaving a profound mark on global health and economies. They are not just diseases, they are epidemics, affecting millions of lives and posing significant challenges to healthcare systems worldwide. Cancer, with its myriad forms, is a leading cause of death globally, claiming nearly 10 million lives each year. Its impact is felt across the globe, from high-income countries with advanced healthcare systems to low-income countries where access to treatment is limited. The economic burden of cancer is staggering, encompassing the costs of diagnosis, treatment, lost productivity, and premature death. AIDS, once a death sentence, has transformed into a chronic, manageable condition for many thanks to the advent of antiretroviral therapy, or ART. However, access to ART remains unequal, with millions still lacking access to these life-saving medications. Sub-Saharan Africa, in particular, bears a disproportionate burden of the global HIV/AIDS epidemic, with the virus continuing to devastate communities and hinder economic development. The fight against cancer and AIDS requires a multifaceted approach encompassing prevention, early detection, effective treatment, and palliative care. It demands a global effort involving researchers, healthcare providers, policymakers, and individuals alike. We must work together to raise awareness, reduce stigma, increase funding for research, and ensure access to affordable, quality healthcare for all. Cancer cells, the rogue agents of our own bodies, are masters of disguise. They arise from normal cells, but through a series of genetic mutations, they transform into something sinister. Something that no longer plays by the rules of the body's intricate symphony. Imagine a musician in an orchestra suddenly playing a discordant melody, disrupting the harmony of the entire ensemble. These mutations, often triggered by a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors, alter the very blueprint of a cell, its DNA. These alterations can affect a wide range of cellular processes, including growth, division, and repair. The result is a cell that no longer responds to the body's signals, a cell that has gone rogue. One of the hallmarks of cancer cells is their uncontrolled proliferation. Normal cells divide in a controlled manner, replacing old or damaged cells and maintaining the integrity of tissues and organs. Cancer cells, however, break free from these constraints, multiplying rapidly and forming tumors, abnormal masses of tissue that can compress and damage surrounding structures. Imagine a crowd of people suddenly surging forward, overwhelming security barriers and disrupting the flow of traffic. Cancer cells are also characterized by their ability to invade surrounding tissues and spread to distant parts of the body through a process called metastasis. To achieve this, they develop the ability to break free from the original tumor, travel through the bloodstream or lymphatic system, and establish new colonies in other organs. Imagine a group of skilled infiltrators, breaching security checkpoints and establishing footholds in new territories. In contrast to cancer's internal rebellion, AIDS arises from an external invasion, a stealthy attack by the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV. This minuscule yet formidable foe is a master of disguise, able to evade the body's defenses and integrate itself into the very cells designed to protect us. HIV is a type of virus known as a retrovirus, which means it carries its genetic information in the form of RNA rather than DNA. This RNA genome is enclosed within a protein capsid, which is further surrounded by a lipid envelope studded with glycoproteins. These glycoproteins, like keys designed for specific locks, allow HIV to bind to and enter certain cells in the human body. The primary target of HIV is a type of white blood cell called a CD4 cell, also known as a T helper cell. These cells play a crucial role in the immune system, coordinating the body's defenses against infections. HIV's glycoproteins specifically bind to a receptor on the surface of CD4 cells called CD4, as well as a co-receptor, usually CCR5 or CXCR4. Once attached to the cell surface, HIV fuses with the cell membrane, releasing its contents into the cytoplasm. Inside the cell, HIV's reverse transcriptase enzyme springs into action, transcribing the viral RNA genome into DNA. This viral DNA is then integrated into the host cell's own DNA, effectively becoming part of the cell's genetic blueprint. Imagine a hacker infiltrating a computer system, installing malicious code that alters its core functions. Cancer cells, once ordinary members of the body's cellular society, undergo a series of transformations that turn them into agents of chaos, disrupting the intricate balance of tissues and organs and hijacking the body's resources for their own nefarious purposes. One of the key ways cancer cells achieve this is by stimulating angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels. Tumors need a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients to grow and spread, and they achieve this by releasing signaling molecules that induce nearby blood vessels to sprout new branches that extend into the tumor mass. Imagine a city undergoing rapid, unplanned expansion, with new roads and infrastructure built haphazardly to accommodate the growing population. Cancer cells also evade the body's immune system, which is normally responsible for identifying and destroying abnormal cells. They achieve this through various mechanisms, such as reducing the expression of surface molecules that would normally mark them as foreign, or releasing immunosuppressive factors that dampen the immune response. Imagine a group of criminals disguising themselves as law enforcement officers, evading detection and continuing their illicit activities with impunity. Moreover, cancer cells can manipulate their surrounding environment, creating a microenvironment that favors their own growth and survival. They release factors that promote inflammation, which can further stimulate angiogenesis and suppress the immune system. They also interact with surrounding cells, influencing their behavior and creating a network of collaborators that support tumor growth. Imagine a charismatic leader rallying a group of followers, persuading them to act against their own interests and contribute to the leader's rise to power. Section 4. The Stealthy Invader. How HIV disarms the immune system. HIV, the virus responsible for AIDS, silently disarms the immune system, leaving it vulnerable to infections. Integrated into the host cell's DNA, HIV directs the production of new viral proteins. These particles bud off, acquiring their envelope from the host cell membrane. Newly formed viruses infect other CD4 cells, repeating the cycle. HIV progressively destroys CD4 cells, crucial for coordinating the immune response. As CD4 cells dwindle, the body becomes vulnerable to infections. This weakening of the immune system characterizes AIDS. As CD4 cell count falls, the body becomes susceptible to opportunistic infections. These infections can rage unchecked in a person with AIDS, leading to serious illness and death. HIV can lie dormant within infected cells, forming a latent reservoir. This latent reservoir poses a significant challenge to HIV cure efforts. It can reactivate and reignite the infection if treatment is stopped. Section 1. The onset of chaos. Cancer's invasion. The journey of a cancer cell from mutation to devastation is a tale of unchecked ambition. A single rogue cell with a tiny DNA error gains the ability to divide uncontrollably. This rogue cell multiplies, forming a tumor that encroaches on its surroundings. The tumor releases signals, enticing blood vessels to provide sustenance. New blood vessels form a network that fuels the tumor's growth. With nutrients and oxygen, the tumor's growth accelerates, infiltrating tissues. The once orderly society of cells is thrown into chaos. The cancerous mass spreads, leaving a trail of destruction. The body's normal function is disrupted as the tumor invades. Section 2. A silent takeover, HIV's subterfuge. HIV's invasion is a stealthy affair, unfolding over years. Imagine a microscopic Trojan horse disguised as a harmless protein. HIV targets CD4 cells, crucial for the immune system. These cells patrol for signs of infection, ready to mobilize a counterattack. HIV evades these sentinels, cloaked in proteins mimicking healthy cells. This disguise allows HIV to bind to CD4 cell receptors. Once inside, HIV sheds its disguise, revealing its true nature. It releases its RNA and reverse transcriptase enzyme. This enzyme transcribes RNA into DNA, integrated into the host cell's DNA. HIV transforms the CD4 cell into a virus-producing factory. The infected cell churns out new viral particles, each a copy of the invader. Section 3. The body under siege. Manifestations of disease. Cancer and HIV disrupt the balance of organs and systems, manifesting in symptoms. Cancer can remain silent, only to announce its presence with debilitating symptoms. Unexplained weight loss, fatigue, and pain are warning signs of cancer. As the disease progresses, symptoms become more severe. Organ function may be compromised, leading to jaundice or difficulty breathing. Pain can be excruciating, reflecting the tumor's destructive power. HIV weakens the body's defenses, leaving it vulnerable to infections. Early symptoms of HIV mimic the flu, making diagnosis challenging. As HIV destroys CD4 cells, the immune system weakens. Opportunistic infections become life-threatening in people with AIDS. Section 4. A delicate balance disrupted, long-term consequences. The long-term consequences of cancer and AIDS extend beyond the immediate threat to life. Cancer treatment can have lasting side effects, impacting quality of life. Chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery can damage healthy tissues. Survivors may face a lifetime of follow-up care and managing side effects. The psychological toll of cancer includes anxiety, depression, and fear of recurrence. HIV, once a death sentence, is now a manageable condition with antiretroviral therapy, ART. ART suppresses HIV replication, allowing the immune system to recover. However, ART is not a cure for HIV. The virus can lie dormant, forming a reservoir invisible to the immune system. Individuals must adhere to lifelong ART to keep the virus in check. HIV can accelerate aging, increasing the risk of age-related diseases. Chronic inflammation associated with HIV leads to premature aging and health problems. Section 1. A war on two fronts, battling cancer and AIDS. The battle against cancer and AIDS is a relentless pursuit. Researchers and clinicians are dedicated to developing new treatments. Cancer treatment includes surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy. Surgery aims to remove the tumor and affected tissues. Chemotherapy targets rapidly dividing cells, including cancer cells. Radiation therapy uses high-energy rays to destroy cancer cells. Both chemotherapy and radiation can damage healthy tissues. Side effects include nausea, hair loss, and increased infection risk. Advances in treatment offer hope for improved outcomes. Targeted therapies have revolutionized the treatment of cancer and HIV. These therapies act like precision weapons, targeting specific molecules or pathways. In cancer, targeted therapies block proteins that drive tumor growth. By inhibiting these key players, therapies can halt or slow tumor growth. Tyrosine kinase inhibitors, like imatinib, target specific proteins in cancer. Imatinib has transformed chronic myeloid leukemia into a manageable condition. In HIV, targeted therapies include antiretroviral therapy, ART. ART suppresses viral replication, allowing the immune system to recover. The combination approach helps prevent drug resistance. Significant progress has been made, but the search for a cure continues. Researchers explore new frontiers in medicine, aiming to eradicate these diseases. Cancer research focuses on immunotherapy, gene editing, and personalized medicine. Immunotherapy boosts the immune response to fight cancer. Gene editing technologies like CRISPR-Cas9 correct genetic mutations. Personalized medicine tailors treatment to the tumor's genetic makeup. This approach maximizes efficacy while minimizing side effects. HIV research faces challenges due to the virus's ability to hide in cells. Strategies aim to reactivate and eliminate the latent reservoir. Gene editing and therapeutic vaccines are promising approaches. The goal is to develop therapies that offer hope and healing. Cancer casts a long shadow across the globe, impacting every corner. The statistics are staggering, highlighting the urgent need for action. Cancer is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. The burden of cancer is projected to rise in the coming decades. Cancer's reach extends beyond individuals, impacting families and communities. The economic burden includes diagnosis, treatment, and lost productivity. In low and middle-income countries, cancer threatens healthcare systems. Advances in prevention, detection, and treatment offer hope. Significant disparities in access to quality care persist. Efforts must focus on reducing these disparities and improving outcomes. The HIV/AIDS epidemic, once a terrifying and rapidly spreading global health crisis, has evolved over the past 4 decades, leaving an indelible mark on the world and casting a long shadow over the lives of millions. While significant progress has been made in combating the epidemic, particularly in terms of reducing new infections and improving access to life-saving antiretroviral therapy, or ART, the legacy of AIDS continues to shape global health priorities and underscores the importance of sustained commitment to ending this pandemic. Since the first cases were reported in the early 1980s, the HIV/AIDS epidemic has claimed the lives of over 40 million people worldwide, leaving a devastating impact on families, communities, and entire generations. Sub-Saharan Africa in particular has borne the brunt of the epidemic, with the region accounting for nearly 70% of new HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths globally. The advent of ART in the mid-1990s marked a turning point in the fight against AIDS, transforming what was once a death sentence into a chronic, manageable condition for millions. ART works by suppressing HIV replication, preventing the virus from destroying the immune system and allowing people living with HIV to live longer, healthier lives. The widespread rollout of ART has led to a dramatic decline in AIDS-related deaths, with mortality rates falling by more than 50% since their peak in the early 2000s. However, access to ART remains unequal, with millions still lacking access to this life-saving treatment, particularly in low- and middle-income countries. The global impact of cancer and AIDS lays bare the stark realities of health inequities, highlighting the vast disparities in access to quality healthcare and treatment outcomes between high-income and low- and middle-income countries. These disparities, rooted in a complex interplay of social, economic, and political factors, underscore the urgent need for a more equitable and just global health system that prioritizes the needs of the most vulnerable. In high-income countries, where healthcare systems are generally well-resourced and access to advanced medical technologies is readily available, cancer survival rates have improved significantly in recent decades. Early detection programs, sophisticated imaging techniques, and innovative treatments such as immunotherapy and targeted therapies have all contributed to these positive trends. In contrast, in many low- and middle-income countries, cancer is often diagnosed at later stages, when treatment options are limited and the prognosis is poorer. Limited access to basic healthcare services, such as screening programs and diagnostic testing, means that cancer is often diagnosed at a more advanced stage, when treatment is less effective and more costly. The situation is similarly dire for HIV/AIDS, where access to ART, the cornerstone of HIV treatment, remains unequal, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, where the majority of people living with HIV reside. While RT coverage has expanded significantly in recent years, millions still lack access to this life-saving medication due to a combination of factors, including poverty, stigma, and weak healthcare infrastructure. The global fight against cancer and AIDS is not just a medical challenge. It is a moral imperative, a call to action to address the systemic inequities that perpetuate health disparities and prevent millions from accessing the care they need. It is a fight that requires a collective effort, involving governments, international organizations, healthcare providers, researchers, and individuals alike. Addressing the global cancer burden requires a multi-pronged approach, focusing on strengthening healthcare systems, improving access to essential medicines and technologies, and investing in research and innovation. Priority should be given to implementing cost-effective cancer prevention and control programs, particularly in low- and middle-income countries, where the burden of cancer is expected to rise most sharply in the coming decades. Ending the HIV/AIDS epidemic requires a sustained commitment to expanding access to HIV prevention, testing and treatment services, particularly for key populations most at risk of infection, such as young people, sex workers, and men who have sex with men. Addressing stigma and discrimination, which continue to be major barriers to accessing HIV services, is also crucial. The fight for global health equity is a fight for social justice, for a world where everyone, regardless of where they live or their economic circumstances, has the opportunity to live a long and healthy life. It is a fight that demands our unwavering commitment, our compassion, and our collective action. Shields Up. Strategies for cancer prevention. While the fight against cancer often focuses on treatment and cures, prevention remains our first and most powerful line of defense. Imagine a fortress, its walls fortified, its guards vigilant, prepared to repel any attack before it even reaches the gates. This is the essence of cancer prevention, a proactive approach to minimizing risk and empowering individuals to take control of their health. The good news is that many cancers are largely preventable. By adopting healthy lifestyle choices, we can significantly reduce our risk of developing this complex and often devastating disease. Imagine a gardener meticulously tending to their plants, providing them with the right nutrients, sunlight, and protection from pests, ensuring their healthy growth and resilience. One of the most impactful steps we can take is to quit smoking and avoid second-hand smoke. Tobacco use is a leading cause of several types of cancer, including lung, throat, bladder, and kidney cancer. Imagine a toxic cloud lifted, allowing our lungs to breathe freely, our bodies to heal, our risk of cancer significantly reduced. Maintaining a healthy weight through a balanced diet and regular exercise is another crucial aspect of cancer prevention. Obesity is linked to an increased risk of several cancers, including colon, breast, and endometrial cancer. Imagine our bodies as finely tuned machines, fueled by nutritious foods and kept running smoothly through regular physical activity. Breaking the chain, HIV/AIDS prevention and education. Unlike cancer, which arises from a complex interplay of genetic and environmental factors, HIV/AIDS is caused by a single identifiable agent, the human immunodeficiency virus. This knowledge empowers us to break the chain of transmission and prevent new infections through a combination of education, awareness, and readily available prevention tools. Education is paramount. By understanding how HIV is transmitted and the steps we can take to protect ourselves and others, we can dismantle the stigma surrounding the virus and empower individuals to make informed decisions about their sexual health. Imagine a world where accurate information about HIV is readily accessible, replacing fear and misinformation with knowledge and understanding. Condoms remain one of the most effective methods of HIV prevention, acting as a physical barrier that blocks the transmission of the virus during sexual intercourse. When used consistently and correctly, condoms provide a high level of protection against HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. Imagine a simple yet powerful tool, readily available and easily accessible, empowering individuals to protect themselves and their partners. HIV testing is another crucial component of prevention. Knowing one's HIV status is essential for accessing treatment if needed and preventing further transmission. Early diagnosis and treatment are key to improving health outcomes for people living with HIV and reducing the spread of the virus. Imagine a world where HIV testing is routine, stigma-free, and readily available, allowing individuals to know their status and make informed decisions about their health. The ultimate showdown: cancer versus AIDS, a threat assessment. In the ultimate showdown between cancer and AIDS, two formidable foes that have plagued humanity for decades, the question arises: which poses the greater threat to our species? While both diseases are capable of causing immense suffering and claiming millions of lives, a closer examination reveals key differences in their transmission, treatment, and potential for eradication. Cancer, with its myriad forms and complex origins, is not contagious in the traditional sense. It arises from errors in our own cells, mutations that accumulate over a lifetime, often influenced by a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors. While some cancers can be caused by viruses, such as human papillomavirus, HPV, and hepatitis B and C viruses, these viruses are transmitted through specific routes, and cancer itself is not directly contagious from person to person. HIV/AIDS, on the other hand, is caused by a virus that spreads through bodily fluids, primarily through unprotected sex, sharing needles, or from mother to child during pregnancy, childbirth, or breastfeeding. HIV attacks the immune system, weakening the body's defenses and leaving individuals vulnerable to opportunistic infections and certain types of cancer. This difference in transmission is crucial in assessing the threat level of each disease. While cancer's impact on global health is undeniable, its non-contagious nature means that it is unlikely to cause rapid, widespread pandemics like those seen with infectious diseases such as HIV/AIDS, influenza, or COVID-19. Furthermore, significant progress has been made in treating both cancer and HIV/AIDS. Advances in cancer treatment, such as immunotherapy, targeted therapies, and personalized medicine, are leading to improved survival rates and a better quality of life for many cancer patients. Antiretroviral therapy, ART, has transformed HIV/AIDS from a death sentence into a chronic, manageable condition for millions worldwide. A future free from fear. Research, innovation, and global collaboration. While the fight against cancer and AIDS is far from over, the remarkable progress made in understanding, treating, and preventing these diseases offers hope for a future free from the fear and suffering they have caused for generations. Continued investment in research, innovation, and global collaboration will be essential to achieving this vision. In the realm of cancer, promising new therapies are emerging, offering the potential for more targeted, effective, and less toxic treatments. Immunotherapy, which harnesses the power of the body's own immune system to fight cancer, is revolutionizing the treatment of many types of cancer, leading to long-term remissions and even cures in some cases. Gene editing technologies, such as CRISPR-Cas9, hold immense promise for the future of cancer treatment, offering the potential to correct the genetic mutations that drive cancer development. While still in its early stages, gene editing could one day provide a one-time cure for certain types of cancer. In the fight against HIV/AIDS, the search for a cure continues, fueled by the tireless efforts of researchers worldwide. Strategies currently being explored include gene editing to excise the integrated HIV DNA from infected cells, therapeutic vaccines that can induce a long-lasting immune response capable of eliminating HIV-infected cells, and novel approaches to reactivate the latent HIV reservoir, making the virus vulnerable to attack by the immune system, or antiretroviral drugs. The global community must remain committed to supporting research, expanding access to affordable treatments, and addressing the social determinants of health that perpetuate disparities in cancer and HIV/AIDS outcomes. By working together, we can ensure that everyone, regardless of where they live or their economic circumstances, has the opportunity to live a long and healthy life free from the threat of these devastating diseases.